everyone, Evelyn here, and welcome to this week's writing vlog. Why did I just sound like a news anchor? Hey everyone, Evelyn here. Welcome to this week's writing vlog. In this week's video, I'm actually going to be doing a bit of an unhaul. A few weeks back, I went to a library book sale where you paid $10 and you could fill up your bag with any books that were left on the table. But I went towards the end of the weekend and there really wasn't too much left, and so I ended up picking up kind of a real Mod Podge of leftover books that I know I realistically am not going to utilize to their full potential. But I know of a used bookstore where I can take them and trade them in for store credit. And so that is my plan, because I would like to pick up some books that I can use towards research for my current work in progress. For those of you that don't know, my current work in progress is called Project Fossus. Project Fossus is an epic romantic fantasy that follows students from various walks of life as they converge at an academy with the hopes of securing a place in the kingdom's most desirable city. Okay, so after we've done our trade-in, then we get to go on the hunt for research books. Now, I've already picked up a few at my local library, and I will show them to you in just a moment. But for our trip today, I'm looking for books on the following topics: rock climbing, slacklining, stealth tactics, warfare, architecture, precious gems, wildlife in my specific biome, national... Do you hear that? I think a storm is happening. Hold on. It is so loud. Oh my God. Hold on. Oh my God. We just lost power. Our power just went out. Oh my God. Our power just went out. Is this a freaking tornado? Are you guys seeing this? Hopefully this will just pass really quickly, but oh my God, this is brutal. It's like a freaking hurricane. Okay, well, that was terrifying. And it's just now hitting me that I really should have charged my phone before now. That's gonna bite me in the butt. Okay, well, it looks like we might be continuing this vlog by candlelight, question mark? You know what I get to break out? Okay, this is horrible. I'm actually gonna take advantage of this moment to break out my candelabra. Hold on. Do I look like I'm about to tell you a ghost story? That's how it feels. Okay, y'all ready to see Lumiere in action? Prepare yourselves, because he's a comin'. Why is it that every time I film a vlog, some sort of huge catastrophe has to occur? Whatever, keeps it interesting, I guess. Anxiety pays off once again. I've got backup lighters and candles galore. Whoops. Well, this'll teach your girl to check the weather. Now I've got to be better about that. I gotta check the weather. All right, I'm gonna put this like slightly to the side here. But we need the light, so I feel like I'm gonna have to call this like a spooky vlog. You know how normally I say my vlogs are like cozy vibes? Today we're gonna have spooky vibes. I can hear people out in the hallway now too, trying to figure out like what they're gonna do. I don't think we've ever had our power go out here, and usually if it does, it's only for like a second because I think they have backup generators, but for some reason right now it is not coming back on. Okay, well, since this is quickly turning into like the dark academia vlog of my dreams, this is so off topic, but can I show you guys what I picked up at the thrift store the other day? I feel like showing it to you by candlelight just makes it all the better, so hold on. Dun, 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 dun. It's Degas' Blue Dancers. Wait, it's The Dancers in Blue by Degas. There, I feel like that might be a good spot for you guys to view it from, or a good angle. But isn't that so cool? Anyways, back to our mission. So suffice to say, I do have to tell you guys, I'm not gonna go anywhere until the lights come back on, because I'm not gonna leave Mike without any lights on. He is a scaredy cat. He's sitting under the desk right now under his favorite blankie. He needs his emotional support person here. You know what I mean? I know he does. But that's okay. I can still tell you guys my plans. I don't know if I got through my list or not. I don't think I did. So I was looking for books on rock climbing, slacklining, stealth tactics, warfare, architecture, precious gems. That's a big one. Wildlife within my specific biome, like the craft of writing, but honestly, I'm not looking too hard into that. That's more like if I find a book that I think is cool while I'm there, I'll grab it kind of thing. Psychology. And then I also wanted to see if there were any books on Norse mythology, because I've actually read up on some mythological literature before and I find it really interesting and inspiring. And so I just figured while I'm there, I might as well look and see if there's anything on Norse mythology in particular, because that's my favorite kind of like subgenre of mythology. So we'll see what we end up finding. I would say that my top priority is finding books on kind of like warfare and weapons and that sort of thing, just because I don't know about you guys, but I do not want to plug that kind of stuff into my search engine. Everything else, I don't really mind Googling, but there are certain things that like you just don't want to put in your search engine if you can help it. And I need to know a little bit more about weapons throughout history and kind of like war strategy, but I don't want to search that. So as long as I find something in that category, I'm okay. But I will say precious gems would be a close second. Like that is something that I would consider a big win if I can find almost like a dictionary of precious gems. Do you hear the fire engines? Yeah, that's really reassuring. I'm never gonna get to the bookstore. It's still going. It's still happening. Are they coming here? It would be just by luck. It just sounds like it's getting closer and closer. Okay, I think it passed us. Why does my lens look kind of dirty? Weird. Mike, don't lick that. Did you lick that? So I've also opened the blinds, which should help for now. I was trying not to open them just because there's a lot going on outside and I didn't want Mike to get too like overstimulated, but I feel like we need the light. Also, I just looked at my phone and it looks like I can't stream or call anyone either. So I'm thinking that a cell tower might have been struck by lightning, because I can't call anyone and I can't use cellular data to stream anything, and my Wi-Fi is also down. Xfinity just sent me a text saying service is down. So today just got very interesting. Luckily, I am a reader. And that is one of the few things you can do when all else fails. So I think it may be time to pull out a book or two. Okay, I think this may actually be a great time for me to show you the books I got at the library the other day. Hold on one sec. First up is The Code Book by Simon Singh. And I think it's supposed to be about how to write ciphers, how to write and decode ciphers. I'm not sure how much of this I'll use. I have one scene in particular that I rented it for, but that scene is, dude, it's chaos out there. Anyways, I'm not 100% sure yet if I'm gonna include that scene or not. So I got this just in case to do a little research and make up my mind. Then I picked up Spycraft, Tricks and Tools of the Dangerous Trade. Try saying that 10 times fast. Tricks and tools of tricks. I don't know. and it's by Nadine Ackerman and Pete Langman. And this is what it looks like. Then I got Hidden Secrets by David Owen, I think. Yes, David Owen. So we'll see how this one pans out, but it looks pretty cool. This last one is actually the one that I'm most excited to read. I have flipped through it a little bit, but I want to do a deep dive. And it is called The Ultimate Spy Book by H. Keith Melton. I'm probably going to start with this one and just hunker down with Mike and a pile of Post-it notes and go through and just mark anything that I think I might want to use in my story. For those of you that have been following me, my story is already pretty fleshed out. It's already pretty thoroughly outlined, but I do think there are some points where if I found a weapon that I thought was particularly intriguing, or even a concept that I thought was really interesting, I could swap it out with what I already have in the story. I'm just gonna dive in and see what I find. Yeah, we lost power.
You lost power?
Yeah. And I think...
power right now?
No, and we don't have cell service or internet. Hey everyone. Okay, it is now a few days later. The storm has passed and I am ready to go to the bookstore. I am already wearing my crossbody bag and I'm also wearing my Cal Weaver sneakers. If you know, you know. And if you're tempted to judge me, just remember that today I am dressed for efficiency, not style. Okay, I am manifesting a very successful trip and I'm excited to see what we end up with. Let's get going. Okay, so this is my empty carton bag all ready to go. This store doesn't offer any way for you to carry your books, and sometimes I end up with a lot, so I made sure to come prepared. This right here is the directory for the whole store, and if you're thinking that it looks like a lot, that's because it is. Now, these are the sections that correspond to my list for today, but we may venture into some other areas as well. Here's an overhead view of all of the cases. I started off in the writing section and they had a ton of books, but most of them were geared towards essay writing as opposed to writing a novel. Then I made the mistake of going around the corner and got distracted by all of the beautiful vintage posters that they have on site. But no worries, I quickly corrected course and found my way to the mountain climbing section. This area had a lot of biographies, which wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but it was still a lot of fun to dig through. I regret not getting this one. Also, shout out to the Boy Scouts of America as well as the Girl Scouts for keeping this place in business, apparently. Next, I ended up going into the jewelry section, which had a lot of great books to choose from, but they all focused more so on famous pieces of jewelry as opposed to the stones within the jewelry, so I didn't exactly find what I was looking for here. I did, however, have much better luck in the weapons section, and I'm not sure what I was expecting, but it wasn't to find 2 to 3 bookcases filled with books on various weaponry. I'm not complaining, but I was definitely surprised. I spent the rest of my time just kind of perusing the rest of the store. Okay, so it is now actually a few days later, and I am ready to share the haul with you guys. I have to thank those of you that are here watching this vlog. I originally anticipated being able to post vlogs once a week, and so far I have not really kept up with that. So if you are here watching, I greatly appreciate it. And I do apologize for the delay in getting this one out. But without further ado, I would love to share with you my haul from the bookstore. I actually only ended up getting 2 books, but they were perfect. They are exactly what I need. The first book is called Dictionary of Weapons and Military Terms by John Quick. I haven't had much of a chance to flip through this one yet, but I am definitely going to utilize quite a bit of what's in here. I did flip through some of it at the store itself, and when I tell you it is like an encyclopedia of military knowledge, it is. And so I think with my premise of my story, which I know you all don't know too much, but I feel like you can at least assume that there will be some combat elements, right? Based on what I'm researching. So I definitely think this book is going to come in handy for sure. The second book is in a very similar vein, but if you remember earlier, I said that one of my biggest concerns was finding books on like combat and weaponry and warfare, that sort of thing. So hopefully this book will make sense and you'll understand why I appreciate it so much. It's just called Weapon, A Visual History of Arms and Armor. I am already obsessed with this book. I have already flipped through to that point there, and I had no idea how many different types of swords there were throughout history, not to mention all the different types of armor and shields and honestly other types of unique weaponry too that I just would have never thought of. I'm so glad that I did some research because I think this is absolutely going to impact certain areas of my story for the better. Now, back when I first did this haul, I actually did a live stream and was talking with Taylor about this a little bit, and I told her about a sword. I had a vague recollection, right, of a sword that I had seen that splits into 3 parts, and I told her that if I could find it, I would post a picture in the vlog. So I did find it, and I'm going to post a picture here for Taylor. It's not exactly a sword, but it's close enough. All in all, I would call that trip a great success. I'm very happy that I went, even through the storm and everything. I'm glad that I ended up going. It was worth it. And in other exciting news, I did not get to share this with you all up front because of the power going out, but I got a new desk chair. And for some reason, I felt the need to film myself putting it together. Anyways, here's a sneak peek at that experience. Mike, don't lick that. Did you lick that? Additionally, I did not do any writing in this particular vlog, but I did want to share my overall current word count with you all. I am currently sitting at 33,712 words, which means that my novel is just short of 34% of the way done, which is extremely exciting. I feel like I'm making great progress and I'm really getting to the meat of the story, which is making the process far more enjoyable. I can honestly attribute quite a bit of this progress to being on live streams now. I am now hosting live streams twice a week. I try to shoot for Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30, but that doesn't always pan out. So be sure to keep an eye on my channel to stay up to date with my upcoming live streams. I have been told that they're very helpful, and I definitely feel that I'm way more productive during them. So it could be a very helpful resource for those of you that are also writers. All right, everyone, so that's gonna bring us to the end of this particular vlog. If you did enjoy your time here, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help my channel grow. If you're a little nervous to comment, I completely understand and very much relate. So feel free to leave the sparkle emoji down below to break the ice. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.